what your favorite RuneScape content says about you. Barrows, you just started playing a month ago and you literally can't do anything else. You probably Googled best low-level moneymakers in RuneScape, and this is the first thing that popped up. You regularly watch Theoatrix guides, and you're not even sure if you're having fun. Giant Mole, you are a female streamer whose mod lent her a T-bow and you want your first pet. That one's kinda fucked. King Black Dragon, you don't exist. Vorkath, you have a full-time job. You work hard and you come home to relax with a little bit of Rooney for a couple hours a day. Now, either that job doesn't pay enough to buy RuneScape membership, or you're just not that committed. So you do 10 hours a week, you buy yourself a bond every now and again, and occasionally a little gear upgrade. You will branch out to other content at some point, but not today. And you're okay with that. Zulrah. Poder a la nación de Venezuela y suscríbete a mi canal de YouTube, por favor. You know what I woke up to this morning? 40 emails about someone from Malaysia trying to log into my Twitter account. Luckily, it was some random Twitter from an email I haven't used in a decade, but for a brief moment, the fear was palpable. And that's where today's sponsor comes in, which is NordPass. NordPass is a password manager, and if you haven't started using one yet, please move on from the Stone Age. I'll have a link in the description, or use the code TastyLife for an additional free month. More on that later, but it is the safest, most secure way to organize all of your passwords, and not to mention, it's extremely easy. The way NordPass works is it generates a highly secure password for each and every site you need, and it will autofill them whenever you return and need to log in. You can also shop and browse faster by securely storing your credit card and personal details on NordPass, and Christmas time is coming up. Can't be typing all those card details out over and over. NordPass is a lot more than just a password manager. It's an essential cybersecurity tool with tools like Data Breach Scanner and Password Health Indicator. So seriously, consider upgrading your security. I know it's something that's super important to me, and NordPass is the perfect tool to help. Once again, you can get exclusive access to NordPass's best offer using the link in the description, or the code TastyLife at checkout to get an additional 1 month for free. Thank you again. Any type of skilling. You play minimum 3 accounts at once, and you constantly correct people by saying the phrase, "It's actually a phebophilia." Phosani's Nightmare. This is a classy choice. However, you definitely used to use cheat lines. If you see someone running to the death chest, you will take time out of your day to make fun of them, and you should. You're better than them. Unfortunately, your favorite content was destroyed by bots, and all of the rewards were devalued by Nex and TOA. If you're still doing this boss, you're probably its will. Corrupted Gauntlet. Now, I don't know why, but I am so sure that you are from Northern Europe. Which makes sense because your national sport is sadness, and that's exactly what you feel when you do this boss. You don't even like this place, but it's preferable to being alone with your thoughts. Tombs of Amascut. You have a fire cave. Next, you have at least one diagnosed personality disorder. You don't feel emotions, and you think that your therapist is wrong. What you are, however, is filthy fucking rich. You see, the average person, given the choice, would claw their eyes out rather than do this boss for 30 minutes. But you don't have trouble making yourself completely numb for several months in exchange for all of the wealth and power that comes from this boss. There's something poetic about that, and scary. Hydra. This is really good money, and I bet you have a really good account. What you don't have, however, is friends to go do better content with. So you're stuck going to Konar trying not to thumbs down log out whenever she assigns you greater demons in the Isle of Souls. Bandos. You peaked in middle school. You keep trying to get all of your real life friends to come back and play old school RuneScape with you. You can do God Wars on the weekends. It'll be just like the good old days. The one thing you're not telling them though is that you actually just want someone to tank for you. Demonic Gorillas. You're an Iron Man. And you have already done all 4 Zenites, and you probably got spooned as hell, too. You are looking back at this content with rose-tinted glasses. This shit sucks. Go 1200 dry for your first Zenite, and then come back and talk to me. Bank standing. Chad behavior. you are probably burnt as fuck. You've done everything you wanted to do. You have an Infernal Cape, you've got the Fang kit, you might even have a Zuck helm, and you're almost certainly maxed. The idea of actively playing this game for another single second longer physically makes you ill. What you do now for fun is you go to the GE and you just bait 1,500 total players with an argument that you don't even believe in, and it works every time. Bank standers have the highest likelihood of having a real girlfriend. It's 4%, but it's technically the highest. Hallowed Sepulchre. This is another classy choice. You probably have a well-paying job as like an analyst of some sort. You likely have more than one watch, and you also have probably autism. LMS 10001010101. That's okay. I was gonna like spell out something funny in binary, but I just checked and it takes like a month and a half to say pretty much anything in binary. So this is now the joke. I'm sorry. Wilderness Team P-Kang. You are super racist and sexist. The only thing you hate more than minorities is women and yourself. You live off of government assistance somewhere in Europe, and you think your behavior is acceptable because in Europe, they just call racism culture. Tell me again your feelings about Romanians. That'll get the Europeans, bro. Wilderness Singles P-Kang. You do giveaway rerolls on Twitch. Grand Exchange PvP Worlds. You're framed or you're Torvesta, and you have a Raid Shadow Legends ad spot due soon. Tempoross, low-level warrior. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a good way. People might make fun of you, they might call you a noob, but you're probably the only person having fun right now. If anything, they're jealous. And side note, you probably also have your childhood teddy bear. No hate, just an observation. Wintertodt. It's not that this is your favorite content, right? But you keep remaking hardcores, and because you're dog shit, you keep dying. You've now convinced yourself 300 hours later that you actually like Wintertodt. You don't. Flipping. You're probably fucking lying, right? You're probably just buying bonds and telling people you flip. However, if you are flipping, when you make your first mill, you immediately think that you are Jordan Belfort and you buy a subscription to getracker.com. Not sponsored, by the way. Gargoyles, or any other Slayer monster for that matter, you're probably still in school, be it high school or college. You hide the fact that you play this game from your roommates because they might not make fun of you, but they will silently judge you, and you will feel that. Cox, Chambers of Xeric. There are two possibilities here. Now, number one, you are a 1700 total. The idea of going to Tob is just terrifying to you. You have never soloed this content. You likely never will. And you also once tried to stream on Twitch, but you were shocked when no one showed up to your 30 follower, mid-level Iron Man, no mic, no cam, no music, trio normal Cox live stream. Crazy. The alternative is that you eat, breathe, and sleep in game ticks. You haven't showered since challenge modes were released, and you hold multiple world records. You might not guess it, but these are the most hardcore RuneScape players you will ever meet in your entire life. You don't even know their names, right? They don't do this for fame. They don't do this for glory. They do this because it is what they have to do. Nietzsche once said that if you gaze into the abyss will gaze back into you. And let me tell you, the abyss shits its fucking pants when it looks at these guys. They're monsters. Also, it's like a weird side note, they always have terrible music taste. Not even trying to roast these people, but you'll pop into their stream and they'll be playing like The Weeknd or something. Like, what? A little strange. Anyway. Inferno. This is the only content that you do. You are convinced that this content is the hardest, and Inferno speedrunners are the best players in the entire game. You might even be right. The lights in your room are never on. The techno coming through your headphones is at such a volume that it will physically harm infants and the elderly. In your mind, the opposite of having fun is being good. And as a result, there is not a single piece of content that you despise more than the Inferno. And the grand finale, ladies and gentlemen, the Theater of Blood. You're an asshole. This is where the most toxic, the most elitist, and probably the worst players hang out. You treat gatekeeping like a sport, and you are motherfucking Michael Phelps. You love shitting on We Do Raids because somehow every single team you're in ends up wiping. All of your teammates, they're always terrible, crazy. Yeah, I know you're 13 KC, right? But if you would just get accepted into the 500 KC groups, you could prove how good you really were. Isn't that right? As every good raider knows, always blame your teammates. And remember, it's not racist if they're Venezuelan. Say tasty. Okay, that, for legal purposes, that was a joke. Okay? Jesus Christ.